once again we are back on Soch ki Tea Talk Train of Thought with a series of an episode with Dr. Swati Lodha of versatile leadership aspects. And we have seen an interesting story in terms of entrepreneurship, and as a founder, a couple of an initiative as far as the Ulta School is concerned, and Life Lemonade. And also in the process, she had upgraded, she had gone to Harvard Business School and IIM Ahmedabad, the initiatives which are there. I think back to back, you're changing the gear and going to the next level. Now it's a very interesting book to what we have come across. Don't raise children, raise yourself. That's the concern as far as society which is concerned. What made you thought of writing that particular book?
As I told you earlier that I was in touch with the students of all shapes, sizes, of all ages for a very long time, and that is what prompted me to think from their perspective. I met a lot of parents while I was heading an institute. So in college, because of SWASH, I was in touch with students all the time. So through them, I came in touch with a lot of parents too. And when I saw how parents were dealing with their children, I realized that there are so many things which they also need to understand. My simple conviction was that for a small exam, for a small interview, for one job, we prepare so much, but for a job like parenting, we feel that it is innate, it is inborn, we will learn on the job. But I think we need to give more importance to parenting. We need to improve our skills as parents. We need to think more proactively about how we are behaving as parents. So from that perspective, I wrote this book where I said that you cannot raise your children unless you raise your own game as parents. We cannot justify ourselves as parents only by saying that you should respect me because I am older than you. You should listen to me because I am older than you. You have to follow what I am doing just because I am your mother or father. When we do things like that, that is why the teenage suicide rate in India is the highest. So what is important is to understand that there was a time when it was okay to believe कि जो माँ बाप ने कह दिया वो पत्थर की लकीर है और वो आपको मानना है. लेकिन जिस गति से समय बदल रहा है, उस बदलाव के दौर में ये हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है, पेरेंट्स के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि वो इस चेंज को समझें. और उसी को समझाने के लिए मुझे लगा कि ये किताब लिखना ज़रूरी है. सो दिस इज़ अ बुक विच वर्क्स लाइक ब्लूप्रिंट फॉर ऑल पेरेंट्स टू how do they understand themselves better, how do they understand their own child better. There cannot be a blueprint because each child is unique, each parent is different, but there is a blueprint to make you understand how to understand the uniqueness of your child and then work from there. So this is what this book talks about, and this book is not based on again it is a book from the Indian perspective. We have a lot of parenting books, we have Dr. Spock, we have so many books, but they are all written from the Western perspective. But from the Indian perspective, we have very less books available in the market, which goes from the perspective of our day-to-day challenges which we face as parents. So the book deals with those.
I'm sure, I think the parents should go out for this book, Don't Raise Children, Raise Yourself. We need to understand ourselves before controlling our own children, because the times have changed. Today's youth are different compared to what they were there yesterday. So it's an apt book which will work as a manual or guidelines as a parents to what extent they should understand themselves in nurturing their children which is there. And immediately, ma'am, you came up with another interesting book, 54 Reasons Why Parents Suck. How that thing came in your mind?
That is again a very interesting story. When we were doing some book tours for Don't Raise Your Children, Raise Yourself. So in one of those tours in Calcutta, my daughter was with me, and she loves photography. So she was taking pictures of that particular event. So after we closed our talk, there was one person in the audience who stood up and he said that I have a question, but not to you, but to your daughter. And so he asked my daughter that your mother gives this all parenting gyan to everyone, and so how do you rate your mother as a parent? And my daughter jokingly said that, oh, I could write a book on that. And when she said that, I felt that the spontaneity with which she said, I felt that there could actually be a book in her about what is wrong with parents. So don't raise your children, raise yourself was written from the perspective of helping the parents. But then when I wrote Why Parents Suck, it was written from the perspective of children, and it was more of a book to tell parents that this is how we are making mistakes. So we wrote this book together, my daughter and I.
Swara, she's
Yes,
a
so
co-author.
exactly. Swara, she was 17 at that time, and she said that I'm too busy. I just said it in jest that I could write a book, but I'm not interested in writing a book. And I told her that if you seriously want to say something which is important, which could help all your friends, all people your age, I would help you write it. So then she said, okay, let's give it a shot. And we both started sitting for 30 minutes every day, and we did it for almost 3 months. And out of her rants and her, problems, anxiety, fears that she felt with her own parents, came out this book. And to tell you the truth, we wrote 83 reasons to begin, and out of those 83, we some were a little mingling into each other, some were too outrageous, and so we finally closed down on 54 of them. And that is why the book is titled 54 Reasons Why Parents Suck. I got a lot of flack from parents also, because they said, how can parents and suck come in the same sentence, because parents are sacred, you cannot talk like that. But then I told them that I'm writing from the perspective of our children, and children use this language all the time. We hear students say this all the time, that I suck at math, or this TV show sucks, or whatever. So when students talk like this, when young children talk like this, when teenagers, tweens talk like this, I thought it would be an apt title for the book. And so I told my editor that I'm not going to change the title of the book, and it stayed. And today a lot of people tell me that it is one of those books which stops them from committing those mistakes. So it talks about all the different stereotypes, biases that we have as parents. So this book is again a properly researched book. It is backed by research. We researched almost 200 children from different parts of the country. We sent them an anonymous questionnaire in which they wrote about all that they felt. So it was a long questionnaire, and we got details from children about how they felt, what they thought, what are the common mistakes that they feel in their parents, but they cannot talk about it to their parents because parents would get offended, they would not like it. So I wanted to change that thought process of parents, that they cannot be appraised. I mean, when you're working, there is a performance appraisal every year, isn't it? We all are used to annual performance appraisals. Then why are we so scared of our performance appraisal as parents?
Nice.
So that is why I thought that there should be a proper appraisal, and who better than your own children to appraise your performance as parents. And that is how this book came about.
And many times also, if we see if we see in a society, even parents, they tend to overvalue their own children many a times.
Of course.
And there's a lot of disrespect and disagreement which are there. I think it's a wonderful, we have seen your books Get Set Go, even in another book which is Why Women Are What They Are, Don't Raise Your Children, Raise Yourself, 54 Reasons Why Parents Suck. And then what came in your mind about penning down or writing about who is the Ripti Rai like?
As I told you, I always believe there is nothing black or white, there is nothing fixed. I don't believe in a rigid or a fixed life. It has always been fluid for me. किसी ने बहुत अच्छा कहा है कि अनुभवों की पाठशाला ने सिखाया है बहुत, जो सिखाया है वो मेरे काम आया है बहुत। आप जिसकी धीरता गंभीरता पर मुग्ध हैं, उस समंदर ने जहाज़ों को डुबाया है बहुत। The same thing which you see and the same thing that I see, our perspectives could be different, and that could change everything. So writing about this entrepreneur was something, again, I know this woman, she's a friend of mine, and so when I heard her story, I felt that this is a story which should come forward, which should be told to people. And so I told her that let's do a book on this. And so we started writing. And then book about your life. And that is how I wrote the book. And you would be surprised to hear that on the day of the launch, I got some people visiting me on the launch of the book, and they wanted to buy the book rights for making a film on that.
Oh, nice.
And very soon John Abraham Entertainment, they bought the book and to make a film. Of course, this was pre-pandemic, so now the plans are a little delayed, so I don't know when the movie will come out. But yes, the book was an inspiring tale of an entrepreneur, and I think it was again, when you see it like different books, you feel they are not connected, but then it is again a woman entrepreneur. I've been talking about women, I've been talking about entrepreneurship, I have always been discussing women entrepreneurship, and so this was again an extension of the same areas which I feel strongly about, and that is how this book came out. This was my fastest ever written book. I finished this book in almost 6 months.
Nice.
But then I sat with the protagonist every day for 3 months. We spent time together. I wrote the whole story quickly, and the book rights were sold within a year's time. And that goes on to show that if you create good content, there are people who want to showcase that content on a bigger level. So I wrote a book and I sold the book rights. So that is again it's a different kind of journey, it's a different experience, and it is a very fulfilling experience when you see that people would love to read, they would get inspired by something like that.
I think that's the passion which drives the things. What we have seen, the thought process which comes in when we talk in terms of ttalk, train of thought. In case of Dr. Swati Lodha, the kind of thoughts which come in at the age of 12 into the poetry, then again at the age of 21 as an entrepreneur, then going ahead with get set go, going ahead with why women are what they are, going ahead with don't raise children, raise yourself, then again coming up with 51 reasons why parents suck, and again about who is Revati Rai. Still more thought about your next book?
Oh yes, there are plenty. There is one book which is already with my publisher, and because of pandemic it got a little delayed. Otherwise, my next book on how to excel in anything and everything. It's a book titled 360 Degrees.
Nice.
So that is a book which is going to be out very soon. So which is my next book.
Nice.
And it's a book on personal excellence. So it tells every person how to excel in their lives. It is not about perfection, but it is about how do you excel in different roles that you play. So it talks about how do you excel as a person, as a partner, as a professional, as a parent, and as a perennial. How do you excel in all the different roles? So that is a book which is ready, and
Nice.
it should hit the stands this year. I'm keeping my
Nice.
fingers crossed that it hits the stands this
Good. I think excellent, great story of Dr. Swati Lodha exclusively on ttalk ek Boond Soch ki. A versatile leadership style. We have seen a journey which I'm sure is going to inspire lot many ttalk audience, and I'm sure it's not only talking in terms of a woman empowerment, which is we talk in terms of inspiring the youth, inspiring the next generation. That's what I think you give it back to in society in a meaningful way. Ma'am, thanks a lot for really enlightening ttalk audience, and I'm sure like many of the women watching you on this ttalk show will get a lot of an inspiration, and as far as the guidelines and maybe as a role model for them to transform and go to a next level. Thanks a million. God bless you in abundance
Thank you.
for all those kind work what you're doing for our society at large.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.